It's that time again. Now, please bear in mind I'm doing this off screen so I don't end up doxing myself. Because it's that time again. Let me just check the letter itself doesn't have my address. Because I have made that mistake before and didn't realise this. So, bear with me. There we go. Now, we scrunch this up into 1,000 different pieces. And we're going. So this is going to be, well, a moderately long stream. So I'll just wait for some people to come in. Hello there, Christine. I don't need to even see what it says. Even if your name's bloody blurred, I know it's you. That's the thing. I've come to know people all too well. But I've been out for a while, which is why this stream is a bit later, as I have been trying to get a birthday gift for my nan. So I'm hoping she'll enjoy some bath bombs and what have you. I'm going to go to her house, I'm going to yell, "Bomb!" and then I'm going to throw one in her bath. Oh dear, that's going to be a fun time. For legal reasons, that's a joke, but I basically bought her some bath bombs and some oils and what have you, so that's what I'm getting her for birthday. But of course, you didn't come here to find out about that. Clean the lens. Well, I'd already cleaned it earlier today. Funny you should mention it. But if it's really getting that bad, something needs to be done about it, quite frankly. But, I see. I see we've got someone else to remove already. We're not even into the fucking video and someone's come in. Hope that's a little bit better. But we don't deal with his kind here. Zero tolerance for that shit. It's blurry. I can't help that then, I'm afraid. I've done all I can as far as keeping that lens clean is concerned. It may be something to do with, as I said before, the fact that one time my phone has actually fought with the concrete pavement and lost. It also took on a fight with my bathroom scales. Twice! And lost both times. But let's get on to the more serious bit. Let's talk about, first and foremost, it's the monthly TV license letter! Because I can't be fucked to read this thing again. I've already made my point crystal clear as far as TV licensing is fucking concerned. Slam dunk. Enough said about the TV license fee. But put simply, TLDR, if you don't watch broadcast or record live programs as they're shown on telly, don't need a TV license. They've basically put on there, we've passed your stuff on to an enforcement team where basically we're hoping to investigate you and we can come any time, day, or whatever. And frankly, I don't give a shit. Because at the end of the day, they can't do shit to me. Oh my god. There's a lot of people coming out with some unpleasant things. I think, what did it say, you guys? We take out the trash. 1 second. There we go. A couple more people removed. I mean, Jesus Christ, they've really been coming out of the woodwork, these trolls, haven't they? Ah, dearie me. That's the thing. We're doing the right thing here. We're sitting on the right side of history. While they have to resort to, obviously, insults because they haven't got anything better. But talking about Paul Thorpe and Richard Inman, that last video that I did, there'll probably be some people who think that when I went out of my way to throw up my lungs and throw out my voice at them, they may think it was an attack on Paul Thorpe. And I want to be perfectly clear. I admire what he does. He has got bigger balls than most people. He has got the determination to actually stand up and speak for his country. I don't think anybody here could dispute that. What I had a problem with is the fact that, quite frankly, I think this whole thing is just going a little too slowly. That's what I think right now. I think we as a nation are going way too slow for the current climate right now. Keir the traitor Starmer has made it his personal mission to make sure this country falls and to lock up political dissidents and to stop people from being able to do so much as shout at police, which is their God-given right as part of I nearly had a stroke there, as part of Article 10 of the Human Rights Act, the right to protest. Whether you like some of what people say or not, you have the right to do. What you don't have the right to do is not be offended. What you don't have the right to do is to not grimace in some way or form. Because obviously, Paul Thorpe, when I basically told him, Keir the traitor Starmer of the Nonce Party, I mean the Labour Party, or maybe I was right first time, who was basically akin, and I'm just going to say it on live stream, fuck it. I can't be bothered being sugarcoating this shit anymore. Keir the traitor Starmer is Adolf Hitler, Britain's version, 2.0. That's the way I look at it. He is a man who effectively wants to destroy this country, and the only thing he doesn't have compared to Adolf Hitler is the fact that he hasn't killed a load of Jews yet. But at this point, he's already doing everything he can to replace old Whitey with, obviously, the third world barbarians, quite frankly. I know people are going to look at that and think, ooh, that's a bit out there. And I know if... what video? It was not the last one he just did like this morning. It was 10 ways to fight back against the country. I put in a little super chat in there, and I just saw him go when he read out my comment. Or he might not have even read my comment out. I probably still need to go look at that myself and see what he actually did. All I caught, though, was him just grimacing at what was said. But here's the cold, bitter truth. We are going 20 to 30 miles an hour, when what we should be doing is putting our foot on the gas and going 100 miles an hour, quite frankly. Because Keir the traitor Starmer is doing that as far as turning our country into a third world shithole. So it stands to reason we need to up our ante as well. Richard's own words, we need to up the ante. And how do we do that? We start organising mass protests on a regular basis. We make sure we don't pay council tax. We make sure that we hold mass walkouts of jobs and what have you. Down tools, stop working, bring the country to a standstill. Because the one thing you can guarantee is that these councils and Keir the traitor Starmer need our taxpayer money. What do you think's going to happen if the money dries up just like that? That's the thing. It's monetized to the hit as ownership. You shouldn't. We're on this together. Exactly. We must unite. We can't sit here and just talk around the round table. We're not the fucking Knights of Galahad and whatever. We're not some holy crusade. I'll accept that, although you could say a holy crusade technically is Christianity. But I digress. We're not sitting here like the knights. We're not dressed up in armor. We don't carry swords, or I hope not. And we're not basically asking for a fucking violent crusade or a violent revolution. We don't want that. I'm the last person who wants it. I'm the last person who wants to see things overthrowing the government. That's the way I look at it. But what I understand is more than anything, which I think Paul Thorpe and Richard Inman, I think they've had it a little bit easy, to be honest. Although, devil's advocate, they do have a lot of shit going on in their lives, including Paul's got to look after his grandkids, especially after the story I put out that basically covered what he said about one of his kids being taught about all the hundreds of thousands of fucking genders there are, when we all know there's only two. So, I do understand why Paul Thorpe is afraid to get killed or go to jail. I fully understand it, and I empathise with it, quite frankly. Obviously, you want to look after your kids, and truth be told, I'd probably put my kids first as well. But the thing is, we have to do something. We can't sit around and talk about it. Because you know what we're doing right now? We're banging our heads against a brick wall. Well, actually, that one's hollow wood, so I'm all right. Anyway, we're banging our heads against a brick wall here. We're doing the same fucking thing, expecting something else in the chain to be different. We can't keep doing this. There were many people who I went and saw, people who saw me. They saw who I was, came up, shook my hand at the protest or demonstration or whatever you want to call it, up on the 1st of February. People who were categorically saying they agree. We need action. We need action, not words. Some people were even saying overthrow. So don't just think I'm alone on this shit. It's not just me saying this. And as I've said, the topic today, by the way, is I'm just basically giving an overview and follow-up video from the one I did covering Paul Thorpe's little grimace of me and how I think the country's going a little bit too slow, to be honest. But the way I see it, it's not just me who's saying this. And I don't want this revolution to occur. But the cold, bitter truth is that is exactly what we're going to get. And unfortunately, what we need to do is we need to basically be more robust. And I'll be even more robust with the trash down there. We need to be robust about this. We can't just keep saying, oh, Keir the traitor Starmer, you naughty boy, you shouldn't be doing that. You're in so much trouble when I get a hold of you. No, we need to be, do your fucking job, or we are dragging you out of the houses of treachery. I'm in Parliament. Or again, maybe I was right first time. That's what we need to be doing. No more pussyfooting around this. We can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. You want change? You've got to fight for it. What was the first thing that Tommy Robinson said as far as some of these protests were concerned when he was doing this back when he originally started? He said, get killed. He would said that we either have to be prepared to get killed or go to jail. His words. That's the way I look at it. But here's some good news, just to take a little bit of a break from that for a moment. Elon Musk, apparently, and this one really has a big shit-eating grin on my face right now, like stretching ear to fucking ear. Elon Musk has defunded the BBC to the tune of 6%. It's not much, I grant you. It's only 6%, but it's still millions of taxpayers' money that the BBC are now going to be out on. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the drill, folks. Say it with me. It doesn't suit the narrative. Oh, it sure as shit will not suit the BBC narrative. Let me fucking tell you that much for free. No % required. Paul and Richard, they're doing so much. I mean, don't get me wrong, Sue. Don't get me wrong. I know how much Richard and Paul have done. I know what they've done. Believe you me, I am not blind. I don't have bloody blinkers onto the world, quite frankly. I fully understand that they have made their own contributions. I mean, hell, Richard even flies in from fucking Ireland to come and attend some of these protests and organise them. So don't think for a moment I don't understand what they've done. What I am saying, however, is that we have tried the jaw approach. We have tried speaking our hearts out, speaking our minds out for England. Unfortunately, no one seems to be, how do I put it? No one seems to want to stick their head over the parapet. Everyone's too afraid to basically go over into no man's land. And here's the truth. In wars, whether political, whether they be physical, or whether they be mental, and yes, I know I'm mental. Anyway, whether it's mental, physical, or psychological, there are wars that need to be fought. And in wars, soldiers die. Soldiers get wounded. People get maimed. People suffer life-changing experiences. People suffer from PTSD. Tommy Robinson is suffering through PTSD right now. He's having to serve through solitary bloody confinement that he shouldn't even be in. Like, the way I slice it, we have to take this seriously. Like I said, mass walkouts, down tools, and just walk away from the jobs. Don't pay council tax. Certainly don't pay the BBC licence fee, unless you are actually needing of one. But here's the thing. I think Paul needs to realise, cold bitter truth, we're past the point of talking. We've got two choices on this. We either try the final resort as far as peace is concerned, which is the points I've just mentioned, mass walkouts, mass protests on a regular basis, and of course, we make sure that we don't pay council tax. Or, the alternative, go to war. That's the truth. I mean, here's the thing, Scooby. People are not donating to Tommy Robinson because of child abuse. They're not. They are donating to Tommy because he's had to declare himself bankrupt. He is relying on Urban Scoop to earn a wage. We don't support terrorists here. 1 second. Get them out of here. But the way I slice it, he doesn't own Urban Scoop. Urban Scoop is a separate company and they pay his living. But we need to get off of this grifting shit. Because if you want real grifters, if you want people who are truly grifting, just look at the Palestine wankers. Take a look at some of our career politicians. Take a look at some of the people who actually are doing this for money, fame, and titles. Nigel Farage, I can assure you, is a lot more of a grifter than Tommy Robinson. But I am getting distracted a little bit. As said, we've got two choices. The last resort of peaceful resolution, or we prepare for war. And I don't think any of us, least of all myself, wants to see us arm ourselves with pitchforks, guns, or whatever, and go straight off to war. We've already had 2 fucking world wars that have seen millions of people dead. And I think we've seen enough bloodshed in these last 100 years, quite frankly. I am not going to say that it is the only answer that we have, because we haven't gone through, obviously, this last resort. But what I am going to say is if Keir the traitor Starmer is going to double down again, like he has done with Tommy Robinson, how he's basically increased the isolation he's had when we went to that 1st of February demonstration, he cannot be surprised if war comes about. Hello, Super J. Hope you're doing well. He cannot be surprised if people finally decide they've had enough and then they do resort to a revolution. That's the way I look at it. We need to do something about this government. And I am now making a second call to Paul Thorpe and Richard Inman. Please share this. Please share the other video as well. I am putting out a call to them again. And I will say, if you think I'm wrong, as far as we can sit around the table and talk for England all day bloody long, have me on the show. Let's have a debate about it. And I'll keep it friendly and civil. I might swear a little bit, because I swear like a sailor. But I know when to show some respect, if nothing else. And I will happily have this debate. I will happily debate whether or not we should be moving to more drastic action, or whether or not we should be focusing on talking. That's the way I slice it. We have to do this. We have to do something about it. Stroke number 1, 2, 3. Hopefully not. Ironically, I've There was one video I was planning to do, but I thought, no, I better do a live stream on it. And I only had one stroke on that. And the other video, I haven't had any strokes. So I've been doing all right, actually. So let's try and keep the number of strokes down, yeah? I've got to get some semblance of healthiness to me. I need to try and make sure that I'm not going to collapse on you lot. Because otherwise there'll be a 6.2 earthquake and then everyone really will be having a fucking problem. But anyway, jokes aside. The bottom line, as far as all this is concerned, is I personally of the belief that we can't keep talking about this. There comes a time where you have to basically start drawing your sword and preparing for war. That's the way I look at it. We have to make sure that we are aware of what Keir the Traitor Starmer's doing. We have to be aware that talking is getting us nowhere, and we have to do something as far as being more robust against this establishment is concerned. My first priority, as I said, don't pay council tax, mass walkouts on jobs, bring the country to a standstill, massive protests on a regular basis. Show these traitors we mean business, because I assure you, if they don't start getting our taxpayer money, oh, they'll reform real fucking quick, let me tell you. Because after all, if they don't have the taxpayer money to use and spend on whatever they wish, how are they supposed to live? That's the way I look at it. We don't have to sing Kumbaya anymore. We don't have to sing Kumbaya. This is no longer about celebrating who we are. This is no longer about celebrating our cultures and our beliefs and our society. This is about fighting for our country now. That's what it boils down to. Nick Tenconi is going out there taking action, while Nigel the phony Farage, who people still believe in, he's having conferences and what have you, and he's basically said, we aren't going to have mass deportations. We're not going to deal with Islam. We have to do something about it. I say it's time we start taking action. We need to show the government how angry we are. We need to show them what happens when you continue to push the British people. Remember what I said in the past. When Boris the Clown Johnson was in power, and the army was considering whether or not they would join the coup or go against it, half of them said that they would join the people. And that was when Boris was in power. How many people do you think Keir the Traitor Starmer's going to have? Is that another NPC? Ball SM. I'm going to say this once, and once only, so you understand exactly where I come from, since I suspect you're probably new here. I don't have a problem with Muslims. Hell, there was even a video a couple of days ago, I even had a brief chat with one of the Muslims that came along, knew me, and actually, they said, you know what, I like what you do. Yes, it is, trash time. Oh, is Christine going to get first blood here? Shall I leave it to her to take out the trash? Give my mods something to do. But back onto point. I don't have a problem with Muslims. I have a problem with the extremist ideology of Islam. That's the way I look at it. Sick and right, yeah. I'll give you about 5-10 seconds and all that. But here's the thing. As I said, I have a problem with the extremist ideology. Sunni and Shia Islam in particular. They're the ones who are going out inciting jihad against all of us in the West. Okay, I will just get rid of him now. Enough is enough with him. He's had enough chances. But the way I see it, our best bet is UKIP now. Because I don't think it's with Farage. And we need to be prepared to fight a war. Because I want to hope for the best, but we've got to prepare for the worst. If the mass walkouts, the mass protests, and the mass non-payment of council tax doesn't work, we need to be prepared for war. And as I said, and I will always be clear on this, without fail, I do not advocate for a violent revolution. Let that be on my fucking record. I do not advocate for it. And I will never advocate for it. But I will completely understand if people feel like that's the only option they have left. Understanding and sympathy are two entirely different things. And the way I see it, Keir the traitor Starmer is about to bring a war to his doorstep. And it's a war he'll lose. He'll be lucky if he gets even a fraction of the army to help defend us, defend himself from us. But then I suppose that's why he's been importing the third world, because if he can't rely on the army, he may as well rely on the jihadists and the illegal immigrants that have no legal or human right to be here to come and defend him. He is Islam's useful idiot. Their words, not mine. As I said, I do say it a lot, but I will not advocate for it. But the cold, bitter truth is, we're heading in that direction. There are so many people in my chat, and other people's chat, including Paul Thorpe, who will not want this. But what we want and what we get are two different things. I do not want a violent revolution, period. I do not mind, however, a peaceful revolution of doing things like the mass walkouts, the no payment of council tax, the significant increase of protests and the numbers, and showing our anger towards the establishment. I cannot stress that enough. How many non-violent revolutions? Well, that's the thing, unfortunately. It's just a pipe dream in most cases. There's either peaceful resolution or there's violent revolution. And unfortunately, we're heading towards the latter. I don't think anything can change that now. I think we've given Keir the traitor Starmer enough chances, and I don't want it. I won't advocate for it. But there are people right now, probably out there, who haven't got their anger on such a long leash as I have. What do you think they're going to do when they have got a fuse shorter than my... Never mind. Never mind. Forget that. Oh, fuck me. I really dropped myself in that one, didn't I? But that's the way I slice it. Nick Tenconi, I have been thinking about him. Don't worry, don't think he isn't off of my mind. I have been thinking about contacting Tenconi. I just haven't had the time or the liberty to do it, quite frankly. And blood, sweat and tears, and people always pay the price. Yeah, exactly. It's good to see your thoughts. It's good to see everyone chipping in and what have you, discussing your opinions and all that, because at the end of the day, it isn't just about me. It isn't just about me. I know I may be the main character on this bloody screen. No, actually, I'm two. But hey-ho, I digress. This isn't just about me. This isn't just about Paul Thorpe. This isn't just about Richard Inman. This isn't about any one particular person. We need to gel together. That's our biggest weakness right now. That and apathy. Right now, what do we see with the left-wing NPCs? They may be NPCs, but you know what? To their credit, devil's advocate here, they're more organised than us. They're more organised, they're always working, always vigilant. We need to get on the same level as them as far as our organisation is concerned, or it all means nothing. Capitalising vote reform. What do I think of Rupert Lowe? I do think he's an upright guy. I really do. I need to do a little more digging into him, see if there's any skeletons in the closet, as it were, or what accomplishments he's done. But that'll be all in due time. I've got a whole week off now, because I did book my week off, and I will be enjoying every single second of it. And hope you're doing well as well, Science Odyssey. So to recap for anybody who's just come in, basically we've been discussing the fact that I feel like Paul Thorpe and Richard Inman have been going a little bit too slow as far as our progress to getting this traitor out of 10 Downing Street. getting rid of the treacherous bastards in the Labour Party. Or sorry, is it the Nonce Party? You know, I really can't make up my mind on that one. Maybe you can do it for me. Or maybe you already know what I'm thinking. Maybe I was right this time, the second time. But the way I slice it, something's got to happen. And I think we need to start going 100 miles an hour, not 20 or 30. Less of this, more of that. We need to get out there and we need to show them what happens when you fuck with the wrong people. Now, thank you ever so much for watching, guys. It has been a pleasure as always. And hopefully, in the near future, maybe Paul Thorpe and Richard Inman will take what I've said, if they see this video, if it gets shared and what have you. They'll see this and think, you know what? This guy's right. We need to do some more robust actions. We need to take out the trash, as it were. Or maybe they'll be like, what the hell is this nut job on about? Forget him. We need to keep talking. That's the only way we're going to get shit done. But the way I see it, jaw is only going to get you so far before we turn to war.